Welcome to another episode of our Office Hours podcast. David Pollock, we're happy to have you here today. My name is Art Brown. I'm serving as the Dean of IT at MCC, so it's a pleasure to have you. David, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of jump into the mission of Code Black, please.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Art, thank you for allowing me to be here or having me here. I really do appreciate this opportunity. So David Pollock, of course, and a little bit about me. I have more than 25 years of social work experience. Okay. So a lot of my work has really been dealt with elementary, element kids, all the way up to first generation and college students, ex-offenders, and also individuals that are coming out of drug treatment centers, just trying to help rehabilitate them and get everybody back on the path that they're going. Gotcha. So that's a lot of my my background. I love my community. I stay involved with my community. And so not just in North Omaha, but anywhere that I go, I consider community. And whenever I have the opportunity to impart or encourage or inspire, I most definitely make sure I do that.
Thank you. And so I know your story, David. I mean, I've heard it a couple times, but for our audience's sake, one of the reasons we wanted to have you here today was to learn about your past, but specifically about the organization you represent and have founded, Code Black. Can you kind of dive or fast forward and tell us about the origin of Code Black?
Oh, most definitely. So I'll say like this: Code Black started out of a dark place for me, and when I say a dark place, I have fell into a deep depression. I was working for a higher education facility, and budget cuts, we all know how that is. I have experienced that, and when I left it, it was like, what do I do now? Like I said, I was working in social work, working with the community, and I was like, I had my master's. Do I really want to go back into social work? Do I really want to go back into this field? I still have a desire to work and help people, but it was more on the lines of, what do I do next? I couldn't find employment, the employment that I needed to take care of my family. But one thing I noticed was that the technology was taking off. And because I noticed that and I was aware of it, I also identified the lack of access, resources, representation, the education of technology in our community, but more so, like I said, just identifying more individuals in the tech professional world. Where are they at? Right. A lot of our students, a lot of our kids, they wanted to do things because, in order for them to get out of the hood, it's what? Sports. Right. Everybody want to do something with sports. But at the same time, sports is good, don't get me wrong, but let's also educate them about technology. And so from that point, that's when I really started to try to find my way. And as I was going through this path, what was making it so more frustrating was the fact that, I started learning some things on my own. And, well, who can I call? Who can I reach out to? The individuals that people were telling me to call and talk to, they didn't either have the time nor they were giving me the wrong direction. It's like, you don't need to be here, in so many words. Right. And so as I identified that, but yet also kept the heart of the community, I was like, okay, now how can I help my community? My community, we have a lot of small businesses, small mom and pop businesses. Well, they're gonna need somebody to help with their website. Right. They're gonna need somebody to help with their software, whatever the case may be, but where are we at? Right. And so that's when I started like, okay, let me identify more minorities that are in tech. And then from that point, these individuals that I've identified is like, I want to give, I want to help. Well, here's some people that I know that want to learn. So we begin to start pairing and start working with people together like that to get them into tech. And when I say get them into tech, and it's not so much of helping them to find get that job, because I can't tell the employers hire this person because this is what they know. Right. It's more of getting into the understanding, knowing how to use it, and knowing different areas of tech that you could go into. That's getting them into tech. Now the next step is, how do we build that relationship so now you have an advocate for somebody on the other side of the door that could speak on your behalf. Gotcha. So there's a lot of variables, but anyhow, back to your question is, that's why how I have Code Black is just really to create access, resources, but also even mentorship for our diverse communities that are looking to get into tech, because there's a lot of places they say they're for our community, they're in our community, but don't have access, nor do they have the ear or the heart of the community to speak to them.
And the thing that I've kind of witnessed over the couple years I've gotten to know you a little bit better is the name of the organization is Code Black, but talk about the diversity within the organization as far as the students that you recruit to participate.
Oh, most definitely. I will say because it's Code Black, that's just the name, but 95% of our students are African American. I say the other 5% is more Latinos. There's also Latinos, but we're also working with everybody. I'm not excluding anybody. Anybody that's looking for that community that wants to grow and wants to learn, we're open. I've created a community and a safe space for people to come and learn from other individuals that look like them, that's experienced things like them. And so, yes, we are most definitely diverse. My board is diverse, and it's important that I have a diverse board because, if I don't have different thoughts at the table, then, how's our community truly represented?
I've kind of witnessed up close and at a distance, but with our audience, population that you're serving specifically, we know the targeted communities, but with the intro to IT, what can you share with us about successes? And specifically, I'm looking at completions of your program and attainment of industry certifications, if you can elaborate.
Okay, yes. So I most definitely could tell you when I say we're diverse, we touch a variety of individuals, like I said, who have some and some individuals who don't have any. And a lot of these people individuals, let me say not people, but individuals that we're working with, one individual was coming out of corrections and had wanted to be in cybersecurity, didn't know where to go, but just knew that that's where they really wanted to go. Came in, took the class, was struggling, but like I said, because of the environment that we created, really helped them to successfully complete this course.
Okay.
And then from there, they went on to the next step that we have. And so now they're doing a internship with ConAgra.
Right.
And so, which is awesome because once again, it's about access. And the challenge is, how do you get into these opportunities with no experience?
Right.
And so to be able to have that relationship with ConAgra, that really opened the door for us to say, okay, we can do this, and what we're doing is working. We have another individual that was, like I said, was working at their job, customer service, was, how can I say this, when it comes down to didn't know anything. When I say didn't know anything about tech, didn't know anything. Came in, started working, the instructors, they taught very well, very plainly, very clear, knew how to reach the individual at their level, gave them the confidence and the encouragement that they needed, went and passed their tests. They was blown away that they passed their tests. Then built up the courage to work with them on doing interviews and things like that. So instead of this individual, instead of her leaving her job, she applied for another job in the tech field, and applied, got the job. She was so excited. She's like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm making 3 times more than what I was like. How can you, what can you say about that? And those are some of the success stories that we have, and those to me are very powerful because once again, if you could empower the community, empower the individuals that we're working with to show them that it can be done, and then they go out and do it, man, we just changed their whole dynamic.
You do.
We just changed their whole household. And a lot of that too, I most definitely will say, part of that is, I want to say, part of that success also comes because of the relationship that we have with Metro. Us being able to utilize the classrooms that we were able to use, the resources that you all are able to provide to be able to offer to those students, when we didn't have it, also played a big part. So it's not just us, but once again, it's community. So we can't say that it's just about Code Black. No, if we're inclusion, let's make this work. Community is a thing. You know, so I'm sorry, I'm starting to get a little passionate
No,
here.
no, that's what it's
Not
about.
trying to
So,
take it off,
no,
but
no, but I guess I feel like you're being modest because I've told you offline, and what's impressive to me about what you're doing with Code Black is, the things that we do and teach as far as credit attainment in IT. You're doing, I think, in a fraction of the time. You're having benchmark successes. You're having success stories like you mentioned, and then really the part that you're not talking about is what I call the secret sauce, the mentoring piece, because it's having people that can facilitate and deliver tech curriculum is the easy part in my opinion, but persistence and success I think that's kind of what I want you to elaborate. And you've said it a couple times, but I think you're being modest about it. The mentoring, the support that students get, the familiarity of seeing someone that looks like them to help promote and encourage that. So elaborate on that a little bit more.
man, bruh, you trying to get into my sauce for real. I'm gonna leave something,
Yeah.
but I like I said, Art, I really the sauce for Code Black is really is community. It's being authentic. Really, it really is. I live in a community that I'm serving. I talk with the people that I'm serving with, and understanding where these people are at, and also worked with them. I know how to have empathy. I know how to meet them where they're at and not fake it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it makes
and
a
so even when I reach out to mentors, individuals that are in the tech field, when we have that conversation, the conversation is real. I'm not looking for anybody that's just want to have their name tied to Code Black. I'm not looking for anybody that just want to say, hey, I help Code Black do this. Like, you know what? I could read through that because that's where I'm at. That's the people that I'm serving. But when I have authentic individuals that truly desire to serve, that want to help build, those are the individuals that are drawn to us, because me as a leader and as a servant leader, that's how I am.
Right.
And it has to start with me. And if I can't display that, then how can I expect or get the type of support that I'm looking for from other individuals? There's two sides to this thing. When it comes to mentorship, yes, you have the technical side, but you also have the human side.
Exactly.
And so if your tech can't talk to the human, then you might as well stay where you're at.
Right.
But that's the piece that I know that I do very well, and the people around me, they do very well. And so that's what I go after. But like I said, I don't even go after it. It's just
you being you. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It just happens.
And that authenticity it's huge. And I feel like you're being super modest about this and your accomplishments, because you and I'm trying to recall how we met. It was a couple years ago, and I think either you or someone invited me to one of the Code Black monthly meetings, and I said, well, let me check this out and see what's going on. And I think from there I've been just kind of mesmerized that, okay, this individual is authentic, what you said, and he's community focused, and he believes in what he's practicing and selling. So that's what's kept me connected and hooked to you all these these past couple of years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
When we first met, though, the funny thing is, see, I caught wind of who you were. I said, oh, I think I know Art. So I reached out to you a few times.
Okay.
And I never got a response back. I was like, oh, okay, he one of them brothers.
Okay, all right.
He one of them. And so I reached out one more time. And when I reached out, I did send you an invite.
Yeah, that's okay.
And so that's when I'm like, okay. So when you popped up, I'm like, okay. Okay, let me. I gotta watch this, brother, because now all of a sudden he want to pop up.
I apologize, because if that was me, David, I apologize.
No, man, it's we can laugh at it now, but the reality of it is this: just like you, and I just got to be very transparent. Just as a man, and as an African American man, even in the education field, you also have to work 3 times as hard to make sure that your voice is being heard, make sure that you're being not just validated, but I was there, so I know what I'm talking about. So I respect Metro and all of that, but I'm going to talk because that's where I was at. Right. And I understand. So when I first met you, I knew the position that you was in, but just creating community, that was the first most important thing to me, because our community was in shambles. Our community was broken, and people are looking for community. So
Cool. Well, I appreciate your persistence because
Man.
had you not persisted, we wouldn't probably be here today.
most
talking.
definitely,
So, gotcha.
and I'm glad. Look at
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
look at
grown.
you. Now look
You
at
grown,
you.
big brother. You grown.
Look at you. No, I'm just, I would say the same thing about you. So let's talk about, so, and again, I think you're being super modest, so I want to share with the audience. Tell us about, you've got some great partnerships in the community. The most recent one that was kind of publicly shared was your partnership with Microsoft. Can you elaborate on that one a little bit?
Man, you trying to dig into my pocket?
I
aren't you?
am.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah.
Wow. How can I say that?
Or if I know you're probably still developing it. I mean, to the extent you're comfortable sharing, like, what is that? The reason I bring it up because it was, I think, in my opinion, big news. One of 50 organizations in the nation to be acknowledged and recognized by Microsoft. And, if you can, just maybe elaborate.
Yeah, I could tell you. So basically, in what we're doing and what we have been doing with Code Black, Microsoft saw the impact that we were making, and with that, basically what they're doing is saying, hey, we're going to give you, we want to help you. Here's some more resources that we will offer, that we can give to you to help you build out what it is that you're building out. If you want to try a different pilot, go ahead and try it. We'll give you the resources that you need so you can build that out.
Okay.
And so with that being said, at the end of the year, I'll have to do a capstone project and kind of show them what was my process, what resources did I use from Microsoft. And with that, hopefully having them as a collaborator, as a supporter from that perspective, we're able to possibly get more support.
Okay.
Because that's one of the biggest things is, just the support, fighting for support.
Right.
And having Microsoft, with us as we're going through this journey, we're really hoping that we will get additional support from our local businesses, from our local companies, and even like even Metro. Hopefully, we'll continue to get more support from Metro going forward. So that's what we're doing with Microsoft. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they're giving us some classes and stuff.
Yeah. What's the remind me, David, the name of the umbrella program that it's
The name of the program is called TechSpark.
TechSpark. Okay.
Microsoft TechSpark.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so this is their first year doing this, and as they're doing this, what they're using all of us also as a pilot to help them vet out and build out, more programs to keep offering it.
Gotcha.
So
perfect. Okay. Let's see. What else can you share with us? So I keep pushing again because I feel like you're being modest, but if you're comfortable sharing, I keep going back to success stories. Like what can you share if you're comfortable? How many students have you served to date, and how many would you quantify as a success?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I could tell you, Art, when we first started, we started with, the goal was to have 5, but we started with 10. And from there, we continue to keep building. So as of to date, I could tell you that Code Black has served over 135 individuals.
Very cool. Okay.
Out of the 135 individuals, I could tell you that about 90% of them have successfully completed a course with Code Black.
Gotcha.
That means they've shown up every day, they've taken the class, they went and took their tests. And I say even out of the 90, those that have taken the test, I could tell you that maybe 75% of them have successfully completed their tests. So now the next step is, how do we create an environment so that they could get the experience to go and speak to the employers about their experience and hopefully build on that. Right. So
those are those are impressive numbers.
But it's like I said, we get our individuals by word of mouth. We put some things out there, out there on social media, but because of, like I said, the community that we are creating, the culture that we are creating in this community, these individuals are going back and they're pulling other people from the community. Right.
And I think, again, just me, observing up close and at a distance at times, I think that's one of the things that's very impressive is that you're reaching the community and, you're making an impact. And, I feel like, you move silently but swiftly and impressively is how I would describe it. Because you have authentic community connections, and people, just your natural authenticity comes across, and I think that speaks volumes to the success of Code Black. So just huge proponent of what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Just be ready, because and next year we most definitely have some things that's going to be. When I say swift, it's going to be swift and impactful.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Just so I'm trying to, our producers get on me because I kind of make this a one-sided thing. So I'm trying to challenge myself. So whenever we have guests on the show, what are one or two things that you maybe want to ask of me that you maybe want to have kind of me on the hot seat a little bit?
Oh, most definitely,
All right,
man.
let's go.
I got a lot of questions
Gotcha.
for you.
Go ahead.
No. One of the things is this. We talk about community so much. And in talking about it, it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to do it. And there is a lot of communication, even when it comes to Metro in the community, like the classes that you all have to offer and things like that. My question is, what is going to be done different for a representation from community, from Metro, shows their face more in the community?
Very good question. So I will address it as best I can from my seat.
Okay.
It's a personal goal of mine to make sure that we are represented in the community. So I do everything I can to ensure our department has a face, when we can, and represent opportunities, specifically in IT. Will I acknowledge that there's room for improvement? Absolutely. We need to do better as an institution. I do try to carry the torch as best I can, and I continue to let my colleagues know and influence upon our faculty and staff that community representation is important. The key word is community, a community college, and we need to do better about being represented in various aspects of our community. So work to do, I will say that. It's top of my priority list for the department which I oversee, and I'll simply say we can do better in some aspects of that. So.
Okay. So my next question in lieu of that is, what, I'm going to ask you this question, then what are some other resources that you need to support you in being able to do that?
Okay. Very good question. So let me, I always like to choose my words, I would say really it's just, I feel like me doing my job with my team of faculty and staff to help them understand the importance of being represented in a community that, without community members, none of us would have a need to be here. And so I think it starts internally. I don't necessarily think there's anything that you can do per se. I mean, I think I cherish and value the relationship that we've, have grown to develop, but I think we as an organization need to look within ourselves and figure out, is community at the forefront of our vision of what we're trying to do? And so I would challenge, I start within my department and try to level that influence across the college as I can. So I would simply say, let me continue working with my team to have them make sure community is at the forefront of everything we do. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess I got maybe one more question.
Okay.
How do you, in the role that you're in, with the many day-to-day responsibilities that are before you, how do you unwind? How do you, what are some things that you do to relax?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it's a challenge for me. I think I'm so, like you, I'm so vested in the mission of what the college does. And I have to challenge myself to, it's okay to wind down and not think about this all the time, because you'll go crazy. I think I will. And so, short answer, I'm kind of into video games a little bit. Console games, so like the PlayStation. So that is kind of wind down time for me. Lately, I've been watching a lot of football. So football season. So this year, I've been probably into football more than I have been in recent years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any other questions, but however, I really most definitely want to say that from a friend to another friend, and I know many people will watch. Those who those who watch and those who don't. I thank you for the work that you have done. I thank you for the work that you're doing. I thank you for being an advocate for for our community.
Right.
In the position that you're in. We know it's not always easy,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that there are many challenges that are ahead of you. But I personally want to say I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for persevering and enduring the challenges that you're faced, and know that you're not in this alone.
Yep.
You know, and that's the biggest thing about community. You know, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to show up and be about it.
Right.
And so, in any way, shape, or form, or fashion that Code Black could be there to upgird you and to support you, we will do the very best that we can to do that. So I most definitely want you to know that, Art, you are somebody, you are important to us, and we most definitely value you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would say likewise to you. You know, you motivate me. So I think it's, you know, it's all about community. I think you've challenged me to look inward, and, you know, I think I've told you many times, like I'm motivated by what your passion is. Probably the biggest thing, the passion for the mission of Code Black, and so that allows me to think of things differently and how we can approach things differently and what we do. And it's, you know, I will say, and I've said it, you know, I'm always about community first, and specifically changing the narrative of what the landscape of IT looks like, not only in this space, but, you know, across the country. It has many opportunities for people of varied backgrounds, but specifically people of color. It's important. So, you know, I feel like that's my mission, is to help to change that narrative about let's make this an equitable, inclusive space. So, so what you do is, it just motivates me more to make sure that that becomes the natural narrative of what this looks like. So.
Oh, no problem, man.
Gotcha.
No problem. And it starts like this. You know, this right here, where two or three are gathered. You know, we are in community.
All right.
And, you know, and even being in community, being open, you know, the biggest thing is being open, vulnerable, and accessible to have those tough conversations, those challenging conversations. Just because we're two brothers doesn't mean we're always going to agree on everything.
That's true.
Am I right?
That is true.
But can we still come together and say, you know what, you agree on this, I don't agree. But how can we find the bottom line and work together?
Right.
And if we can't do that,
there's a problem.
then honestly, how can we really build community?
True. Very true.
So I'm sorry, I didn't even try to slip.
No, that's very good. So thank you, David. Appreciate you. I hope our audience enjoyed this episode, and you know, we'll talk more, and I'm sure as, you know, you have more projects and activities with Code Black emerging, we'd be happy to have you back in the future. So
most definitely, definitely. Glad to be here. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Next time we have to see you cut some moves or something.
Okay, that's,
you know, just relax. You know,
you know me.
Have a theme. We gotta give him his theme music.
Yes, they don't want to see that. All right. Well, David, thanks again.
All
for
right.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
man.
you too, man. Have a good one now.
You
Thank
too.
you. All right.
Too.
Cool.